Chase, US Bank, and Citi are in a competition to make the most mid credit card of 2025. And in my opinion, Citi is in the lead. Today, we're going to talk about the all new Citi Strata Elite. My name is Sean, and I'm here with my co host.
Hi everyone, I'm Sherwin. On today's episode of the Credit Card BS podcast, all about the new Citi Strata Elite card. This is Citi's new premium card. As you all might know, Citi used to have a Citi Prestige card that was their high tier travel premium luxury card. They've since closed that off to new applicants for several years now. We've been waiting for them to release a new high tier card again, and here we are with this new Citi Strata Elite. So let's jump right in. It sits at a $595 annual fee, so pretty hefty and actually higher than the old Chase Sapphire Reserve fee, which was $550, and it costs $75 per authorized user. It does come with lounge access, so that sort of makes sense. Now, if you have a banking relationship with Citi, you may be eligible to receive a discount off the annual fee. And Sean, I'm curious to think if you think this makes sense to Chase. So if you have a Citi Gold or a private client relationship with the bank, which means 200K or more in assets, you get a $145 annual fee discount on this card. So that brings it down to $450. And if you're a Citi private client, which I believe means 1 million or more in assets, you get the entire $595 fee waived for the first year. And beginning in the second year, you'll just get the Citi Gold 145 discount. What do you think?
I think it's pretty interesting. I wouldn't necessarily say it's like worth chasing, as in if you are not one of these customers, depending on how many assets you have. I'm not too familiar with like Citi's like asset management program or what it's like to actually be like a client of Citi or Citi private client. But I think it's actually like a pretty nice incentive. And I think it is interesting that the thresholds to reach, these rebates aren't totally ridiculous, like especially on the Citi Gold side. I think there are going to be a lot of people that can hit that. Getting a discount on the annual fee like that is actually like pretty decent. Getting 145 off, it can definitely like sway the card benefits like in your favor, into where having that discount makes it so this card is actually like pretty profitable for you. I don't necessarily think it's like worth it to like go chase it, and if you have to like start moving a bunch of money around and figuring things out just for $145 discount per year. But otherwise, I do think it's like it's a perk.
Well, okay. Now, the other thing to know is the bonus. So obviously this can change, but at time of recording, if you apply publicly online, it's 80,000 points. And then if you go in branch, or you ask a banker to email you a particular link, you can get 100,000 points after spending $4,000 in 3 months. And we'll talk about what these points are worth in a bit, but that's actually quite a solid bonus. Now let's move on to the multipliers of the card. And I've seen a lot of mixed reactions online about this. So you get the 12x on hotels, car rentals, and attractions, and 6x on air travel, but these all have to be booked through cititravel.com. You get extra points for restaurants in a very weird schedule structure. So on Citi nights, which is defined Friday, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Eastern, and Saturday, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Eastern, you will get 6 on restaurants. Outside of that time range, it is X on restaurants. And then 1.5x on all other spend, which is sort of interesting because it's higher than the typical 1x that you might get. Sean, what is your reaction to these multipliers? I definitely have some thoughts, but I want to hear yours first.
So I'm a fan of having, I guess, a base 1.5x. I think, like, yes, for most optimizers, it's not that important because we'll use like a 2x card anyways. But I think for a lot of people, like maybe you, whatever reason, just have the card on you, it's decent. And I'm not a fan of like day-based multipliers where it gets to a point where it's like, Jesus, man, like, okay, it's like 7 p.m. on a Friday. Okay, so I can now get 6x at this restaurant. But like, what happens if the restaurant like doesn't bill me first or something? Or like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of these like multipliers that are now like within this weird time box. I understand it's like an abnormally high multiplier. I get that. Like 6x is the highest dining you're going to see. But like, it's just kind of like unnecessarily complicated in my opinion. And then as far as the travel multipliers go, as a principle, I am not interested in travel multipliers for travel that requires booking through a portal. The only exception being when it's through like a premium hotel portal, and then I can still get my status perks and earn points and all that. But like just general travel portal, like multipliers are pretty much useless to me because I will never book through a travel portal in like 99.9% of cases. But what are your thoughts?
Yes, I think this is really interesting. I'm surprised there isn't some kind of general travel multiplier, or at least some kind of multiplier for hotels or airlines outside of the portal. That does mean, at least for me, because I also don't really book through portals, I'm going to be less likely to put general travel spend on the card. This 1.5x on the all order spend is interesting because, I mean, normally I don't care because I would be putting it on my 2x Citi double cash, combining the points here for my general spend. But because the double cash has a foreign transaction fee, now if I travel abroad and I'm doing ordinary spend on this card, having X, no foreign transaction fee, I can see the use case for that. For this restaurants thing, it's very interesting. I mean, there's definitely ways to game this, but the fact that it's set 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Eastern time does present some opportunities at certain time zones. For example, in Hawaii, depending on whether, and by the way, it depends on whether there's daylight saving time on or off, because some time zones don't practice daylight savings time, such as Hawaii. It could be like 12 p.m. to 12 a.m., which is a pretty decent time frame, but it might be off by 1 hour depending on whether there's daylight time. I think I looked, if you're in like Japan, it's basically Saturday and Sunday from like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. or 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. depending
It's
on
a
daylight
very
savings
simple
time.
system.
Yeah, so but like if you're in Asia, this is great because you're getting most of the day on Saturday and Sunday. So like just keep this in mind if you're traveling. I'm sure the people in New York who cooked this up were really thinking about the rest of the world. But I think there is some opportunity here to get 6x.
Yeah, I think it's definitely really interesting. It does seem, yeah, there's going to be opportunities to like, yeah, like in other time zones. I think it is really interesting because
Also, another
then,
thing to
yeah,
note is that it's based on the time at which the purchase is initially authorized. So if you're eating at a restaurant, or let's say I'm hanging out at a club at 4 a.m. Eastern time for some reason, and I want to get 6x on my purchase, as long as that initial swipe is made within that time, even if it takes a while for that tip to get finalized or the transaction to eventually post, you're going to be fine. It's based on the initial authorization.
I see. So essentially, they're like opening a tab, or if you're paying your bill, but the tip hasn't been processed, even though, let's say I pay the bill at 5:50 a.m. Eastern time, and then the tip gets processed after, like the tip would still be covered in my 6x, you're saying?
Yes. According to my understanding of the terms, yes, but enjoy calling Citi customer service if it doesn't work out that way. Okay, great. So let's talk about the next perk, which is the Citi transfer partners. Now, this is not a perk unique to this card, but one new addition to the transfer partners that came along with the launch and release of this card is American Airlines is now a transfer partner. Sean, what does this mean for the value of Citi points?
I would say it definitely gives them a much more consistent, really good value. Where I think before a lot of the City Point redemptions were a little more niche. They had great redemptions, leading hotels of the world, having Eva Air at 1-to-1 is great. But I think AA for a lot of people is a really easy mileage currency to use. And I love it as a currency because you have unlimited waived, fees for cancellations and changes. So you can book speculatively. You don't have to worry about what happens if I cancel. And then they've got some amazing sweet spots that still exist. 30K first class to Asia. And then they also have Middle East to Asia for 40K in business or 50K in first. They've got some like just amazing redemption options. And so AA miles are like pretty much my favorite airline mile. And so I think it actually like makes the value of City points, especially like on a consistent side, go significantly up.
Yeah, I agree. American Airlines is a great new addition. My only trepidation is whether this will cause a devaluation on AA's award chart if people start mass transferring over. Hopefully not, because previously there's no real easy way to get AA miles. Like you have to be opening like AA personal and business co-branded cards basically and getting their big bonuses to be getting AA miles because no other bank transfers to them. So this is really cool. I also think Citi just in general has very solid transfer partners that people aren't talking enough about. Like they have Virgin Atlantic, Cathay Pacific, Eva Air, Choice. They transfer 1-to-2. They have the leading hotels of the world, which they transfer 5-to-1, which, believe it or not, is still extremely good ratio. They have like preferred hotels, which I think transfers 1-to-4, which is also a very good ratio. Turkish, Wyndham. And I don't know, this might be controversial, but I honestly probably think they have the best airline transfer partners at this point. Definitely better than Chase, definitely better than Capital One, probably on par with Amex. Like, sure, they don't have like Air Canada Aeroplan, but everyone else and their mother already
Yeah.
does, right? So I think they have like the cool, unique ones that like Eva Air and now A.
I agree. I think they have like a pretty well-rounded set. The only thing that they're missing on the airline front, I'd say, is like ANA, really, in terms of like what I would, like I think Amex still has over them, but like they have a really nice. I would say they have the most well-rounded set of transfer partners in that like you have multiple good hotel transfer partners, which no other bank has. And you also have multiple good airline transfer partners, right? The only other bank with a decent hotel transfer partner is based to Hyatt, I guess also built to Hyatt. But other than that, like the fact that you have two good hotel transfer partners, that's really interesting.
Yep. All right, now let's talk about coupons, coupons, coupons. So the credits of the card. Fortunately or unfortunately, in your opinion, there are really only three major credits to keep your eye on. So the first one is a $300 annual hotel benefit. So every calendar year, not card member year, so calendar year, you can enjoy up to $300 off a hotel stay of 2 nights or more when booked through citytravel.com. Now, do I think it's annoying to book through a portal? Yes. Do I think it's annoying that you have to book 2 nights or more? Yes. But this is still a credit that some people can use and value, in my opinion. What do you think, Sean?
I agree. I think we have to see. I forget. Does City have like a premium hotel portal yet or no?
Yes, so actually, that's what I was going to say. With the launch of this card, they also launched the Reserve by Citi Travel, and it is similar to Amex FHR or the Chase Edit, where if you book through these properties that have the Reserve by Citi Travel, you get free breakfast for $200 experience credit and like late checkout, room upgrade, etc. So that's pretty nice. They also have a hotel collection, which is like a lower tier than like the Reserve, but still like a premium travel booking thing. So similar to the Amex's hotel collection, but they also have daily breakfast for two in the hotel collection by Citi, unlike the hotel collection by Amex. A little complicated, but there is definitely a way to arbitrage
Then I think it's definitely, yeah, it has like some value to it. I think, I would compare this similar to like, okay, 200 at FHR. This is effectively like, you're getting 150 per night for the 2 nights, depending on the portfolio and the hotels. I think that's fine. Like for me, the requirement of one of these credits being useful is there like a premium hotel portal to book through? Just because if I don't then, because other than premium hotel portals, like I will not book through a portal like ever. And so for me, it's like, okay, then the credit becomes something more tangible to use. Like, for example, I've never used the Sapphire Preferred $50 hotel portal credit, just because it's not really been anything I've like wanted to organically use.
Yeah, I agree. I think the way I would probably use it is also by booking like the Reserve by City Travel or the hotel collection sort of thing. Okay, cool. The other credit is the $200 annual splurge credit. So every calendar year from January 1st through December 31st, you can earn up to $200 in statement credits on up to two of the following brands. So you have to activate two. First Dibs, American Airlines, Best Buy, Future Personal Trading, and Live Nation, which includes Ticketmaster. Now, you have to remember to activate your two splurge merchants, but you're able to change the two anytime, an unlimited number of times. So you're not really locked in. You can only have two activated at one time, but you're not really like locked into them for the year. I think the more useful ones for these for people probably be American Airlines if you're flying them anyway. Best Buy seems decently easy to use, I think, and then Live Nation or Ticketmaster, I could see you using this if you go to like one event a year. So I'm not too bad with this credit. I think the Best Buy is actually a solid option, at least for me.
I agree. I think this is actually a pretty good credit. I think I like, it almost seems a little too easy to use in a weird way because like Best Buy is a pretty general like merchant. Most people can find something they will need once a year at Best Buy. American Airlines being on there as well is pretty nice. Even though like I think a lot of people that watch this podcast probably don't pay as much cash for flights. Still, that's an objectively useful credit. But I think this is actually like a pretty easy credit to use. So yeah, I totally agree. I think it's actually really nice.
Okay, cool. And I would say the other thing I like about both the annual hotel credit and the splurge credit is that they are annual. They're not splitting up the
Yes.
hotel credit into half of the year, quarter of the year. And like the splurge credit, you can just do it all at once, which is great. Now, the one credit that is not annual, unfortunately, is the $200 Black Lane credit. So this one is a bit puzzling. You get $100 from January to June and $100 from July through December on Black Lane. So Sean, what is Black Lane?
So it is essentially like imagine you're booking like Uber Black or something. It's a premium chauffeur service where you like pre-book the car to come pick you up from the airport or wherever you need to go. And I don't hate this credit. I've never used Blacklane personally, so I'm not too familiar on their pricing scheme. But I would imagine that you're able to get, at the very least, the majority of your ride covered for certain limited routes. And so I think it
Actually, that
is
is
something
very
that,
much not the case. I did a
oh,
little
I'm wrong.
research.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, for example, from my house to the nearest airport is around like 20 or something dollars on Uber. If I book a Black Lane's $130. So I
Oh,
guess
Jesus.
like, if
Okay.
I'm using the credit, I only have to pay $30
Hey,
for
but you get a nicer car, you get.
yeah. I mean, it's like a luxury experience. I mean, I don't know. I think this is super situational. I wouldn't factor this into like my effective annual fee calculation personally, but it's
You know
just
what I would think
market.
this would be a good analogy for this credit? I feel like it's like I would view it in the same way as like the Amex Platinum Saks credit, where I don't count it at all to my annual fee, right? Like I'm not in the math, like it doesn't matter. However, it's fun. Like I like it being there. And that, hey, like maybe I want to get like a fancy car to the airport or something and just have some fun, right? Is it stupid? Like, am I factoring in the thing at all? Like, no, like not factoring it in. It's totally stupid. However, is it something that's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like here's a $5 every month, like Lyft credit where I'm literally like valuing at nothing because I never use it. I would value it like as like a fun factor, but nothing like mathematically, if that makes sense.
I mean, here's the thing: you're still gonna have to pay out of pocket for this. Like, it's very hard to find a Black Lane thing that's under $100. So the math here is like, is the Black Lane price minus $100 comparable to like an Uber to the airport? If so, I'd do this for fun. If not, I'd probably just not use this credit.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about some of the other non-credit benefits of the card. So we already talked about the Reserve by City Travel. It's like a premium hotel booking platform, which is pretty cool. You have Priority Pass. You can do you and plus two guests. Restaurants are not included, unfortunately, and authorized users are not free. So, I wish they kept the restaurants. I mean, City Prestige still has the restaurants, but like, it is what it is. You get American Airlines Admiral's Club Lounge access passes, so 4 of them a year. Sean, thoughts on this?
Okay, 4 is so limiting, but I will say, like, there's going to be situations in which this is useful. Like, funny enough, this would actually probably be applicable to me because there are a few times a year I do find myself in an American Airlines Admiral Club airport where there are no other good lounges, Chicago. And basically, it's like, God damn it, like, I really want an Admirals Club membership because it's like, I don't want to be in the airport like 4 hours without a lounge. But I'm also like, I'm here like, 3-4 times a year tops. It's so stupid for me to like, to go get like the AA executive card just for that stupid lounge access. So like, I am someone that would probably actually use this. I'm just not like, I don't love these like hyper limited, like I wish it was like 6 at least or something. Because I feel like with 4, what's going to happen is like, I don't know for other people, but for me at least, I'll kind of like start debating, hey, if there's a chance I'm going to be at this airport again, what's my layover, right? Oh, it's only a 2-hour layover. I shouldn't use it. I should save it, right? But then it becomes this like, I'm probably not going to use it after that. And I will say that like, this is nice though. Like I like this as a benefit overall because I think it is unique. And it's something where like, okay, I can't justify the economics on the AA executive card, but I can justify the economics of this card. And this is like a little extra incentive to be able to access like a decent lounge. And I think this is like an alternative to like Citi opening their own lounges, right? I think it's like they're trying to cheap out on that. And so they're like, hey, we have these like Admirals clubs that are like, we have a partnership with, we can just allow people to access those instead.
Yeah, I agree. I think now do keep in mind you have to be flying like American Airlines or like Alaska or some One World to be able to access the lounges. So it's not like as universal as Party Pass. So it's going to be more situational and dependent on your airport. Also, these are like club lounge access passes. It's not a full club membership. I know like some airport lounges, when it gets crowded, they'll stop letting people with passes go in and you actually have to have the full membership. So there may be cases you're not even able to use this if things are too crowded. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. I think, yeah, we've kind of seen like, especially with like United clubs, it's like a running joke that they just like their temporary banner is basically permanent at this point at a lot of them of like, oh, we're not accepting day passes. And it's like, God damn it. Like this,
Yeah.
what's the point of this?
Yeah. Okay, cool. You also have the global entry or TSA pre-check credit every 4 years, very standard for one of these premium travel cards. And then there's this very interesting benefit called Death and Co. Fashioned. It's like an online website where you can learn how to make cocktails or something. I tried signing up for this and the website did not work yet. So maybe they're still figuring out this launch.
Well, you just sold me. I got to get this card now. I mean, there's
Exactly.
all the other things. I didn't learn how to make these cocktails.
Yeah. Okay, so before we wrap up, about our final thoughts on this card, let's talk about like how this fits into a Citi setup. The Citi now has like 5 cards that earn thank you points, which is pretty insane, like a quinfecta, if you will. If you combine all these together, you can get like double cash, 2x on everything, custom cash, 5x on one category, up to $500 per billing statement. The no annual fee Strata card, you can 3x on supermarkets, transit, gas, EV charging, and one self-select category. A Strata Premier is the same, but you also get X on restaurants, and now you have the Citi Strata Elite with these multipliers too. So you could actually have a pretty effective setup with these. And I think these multipliers altogether is like much stronger than Chase or possibly Capital One as well.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting setup, especially like the multipliers across the board. Like I much rather have a Citi Custom Cash over like a Freedom Flex, for example, just because I don't want to remember this quarterly rotating categories and figure that out. It's just much easier to remember when you can actually like pick the category you're going to be using it on. I think the only thing that I wish Citi had was like easier ways to acquire more of these points. I'm not saying this is like a knock on Citi as far as the setup goes, but the thing about like Amex or Chase is there are just more sign up bonuses on more cards to get. I can get an Amex Business Platinum, Amex Business Gold, Amex Platinum card, right? All with very generous sign up offers. With Chase, right? You can get a Sapphire Reserve, you can get the Ink cards with pretty generous sign up offers. And then here it's like, well, the Citi Strata Elite and Premier, that's basically it. Like those are your big sign up offers. Everything else is kind of pretty small. And so that's the only thing I wish it was a little easier to earn. However, as far as the setup goes, I do think, yes, it's like if you're going to go with like a multiplier setup, I think like this is a good setup.
Yeah, I think the one slightly good news with respect to this is that the Strata Premier and Strata Elite bonus eligibility restrictions are like separate and independent. Meaning like if you have a Strata Premier and you got like a bonus recently, that does not exclude you from getting a Strata Elite card. They're both on like separate 48-month clocks. Of course, this could change in the future. We don't know, but as of the time of this recording, that is how it's structured. So you could theoretically get Premier and Elite bonus, both, assuming they approve you for the car in the first place, which Citi can be finicky about. So, Sean, what is your overall take on this entire card?
So, despite the intro, I don't actually think this card is that mid. Like, I wish there was a little bit more of an excitement factor to it, where I think it's going to be a question of like, how can you actually use the 2 core credits? If you're able to use that hotel credit at face value, and I think the splurge credit is actually pretty fair to call it at face value. So it's really a question of like, do you value the AA lounge passes? And do you value the $300 hotel credit? I think that, if it's the case, right, let's say the card's $595, we take off $200 from the top, right? We have a $395 effective annual fee. So if it is the case that I'm able to use that like $300 hotel credit at face value, then I'm effective annual fee of $95. That's not bad because when you get those 4 Admirals Club passes, you get the good multipliers, right? You have other benefits. I think it's definitely something. And then you could factor Black Lane in for like $20 a pop or something. I don't know. But I think there is a factor where it's like definitely can be a solid card, but it definitely is also the case where I could definitely see like why someone would not want this card. So I wouldn't call it something like super mega exciting. You got to go run out and get it. I think it is like one of those situational premium cards. How about for you?
Yeah, I definitely think this is almost a must get in the first year, right? With the bonus, considering the points are very good for transfer partners, considering you might be able to double dip credits since they're calendar year rather than anniversary year. I think definitely worth picking up for a year. And then after that, I agree. You have to evaluate it. Like, are you getting value from the hotel benefit? Are you able to get annual fee discount if you have a Citi Gold relationship, right? Type of stuff. I mean, and then also, like, are the benefits duplicative, right? If you already have Priority Pass through Chase or Amex or another issuer, maybe you don't need this one, right? Yeah, I also think it's situational. But I mean, fortunately, Citi makes it pretty easy to product change. So, you could always get this for a year and then downgrade to one of their no annual fee cards that still have very good multipliers. So I don't think it'll like really harm you in the long run to get this. So that's our thoughts on the Citi Strata Elite. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Please let us know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's episode, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. It greatly helps support it. If you're interested in applying for any credit cards, please consider using one of the links down in the description below. It also greatly helps support this channel. And finally, Sean, why don't you plug our Discord?
Yes, if you want to connect with an elite group of award travelers and credit card enthusiasts entirely for free, check out the Traveling Discord group at the link in the description. You will learn a ton, I promise you. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week.